All right, so check it out. I once heard it said, your friends determine the quality and direction of your life. And I totally believe that. But it's probably now at this point in my life for a much broader reason than it was originally intended. Let me explain. If everyone who's currently in your life, like everybody in your circle, thinks like you, and votes like you, and believes like you, and worships like you, and posts on social media like you, it might actually be time to add some chairs to your table for some new friends. Now, before you rush to judgment, I just want you to hear me out here. I'm not knocking community with those who share your values. I'm not. In fact, I would argue that it's crucial. But if the description that I just gave is an accurate picture of those people that are currently sitting at your table, I would argue that maybe what you got isn't just a like-minded community, but it's actually more of like a protected or protective bubble. And while bubbles might feel safe, they're also incredibly isolating and insulating, limiting and debilitating, particularly when it comes to understanding what's happening outside of the bubble, outside of that particular sphere. Like, let me make this practical for you. We're called and we're supposed to love our neighbor, right? Like, that's pretty standard. But it's really hard to love your neighbor well if you don't actually know your neighbor well. Like, if you don't have a relationship with your neighbor, how are you going to love them? And when I say knowing, I don't mean knowing them as simply part of like a particular demographic or a debate point in your worldview. I'm talking about knowing them as a human being, somebody who's made in the image of God and someone whose very existence has immense value. Someone whose journey and experience and background has shaped who they are, and you're willing to listen to that. At the end of the day, things like empathy, compassion, and understanding are pretty hard to come by for somebody whose story that you've never even taken the time to listen to, hear, or try to understand. Our own theology and worldview should be tenderized by story and softened by proximity and transformed by compassion. Because people aren't pawns in some ideological game that you have. They aren't issues to be solved. They aren't like punchlines in your statement of faith. They're the apple of the eye of the divine. People are sacred. So my encouragement would be to pull up a chair next to someone who makes you uncomfortable. Someone who totally wrecks your tidy categories. Someone who tells the kind of perspective that you don't know what to do with. Because here's what I'm convinced of. Our own growth doesn't come from agreement. It comes from relationship, particularly relationship with those who don't already see the world the way that you do. Besides, the goal was never to be right all the time. The goal is to love. In fact, it's the way that people are supposed to see the divine in us, by how we love each other. You know, the kind of love that listens more than it speaks. The kind that cries at stories that it doesn't fully understand. The kind of love that changes its mind sometimes because love asked it to. So yeah, here's what I want you to do. Look at your circle and ask the question, is it diverse? Look at your table. Is it long? Look at your tribe. Is it open? Because if not, it may be time to widen the gate of what you call your community. Otherwise, you may get stuck in an echo chamber, a vacuum, a maze of mirrors, if you will, and end up missing out on the beauty of learning from a story that looks nothing like your own. Food for thought.